The blue lights erupt in your rearview mirror. Your heart, once a steady drum, is now a frantic jackhammer against your ribs. You pull over, fumbling for your registration, your mind racing through a checklist. Signal on, car in park, hands on the wheel. The officer approaches, a silhouette against the glare of headlights. The initial formalities pass, license and registration, then comes the shift, the seemingly casual question that feels like a trap door opening beneath your feet. You don't have any guns, drugs, or open alcohol in the car, do you? In this moment, a split-second decision will chart the entire course of the encounter. Your answer could mean the difference between "have a nice day, sir," and a prolonged search, cuffs, charges, and a life-altering legal battle. It is the most critical juncture of any police interaction, and shockingly, nearly everyone gets it wrong. They treat it as a social courtesy to be answered, not a legal pivot point to be navigated. They volunteer a world of information seeking to appease, to seem cooperative, to end the discomfort. And in doing so, they unwittingly surrender the very constitutional protections designed to shield them. This article is not about gaming the system or disrespecting law enforcement. It is about understanding the stark reality of the legal landscape you inhabit during a police encounter. It is a detailed operational guide to the principles, psychology, and precise phrases that can preserve your rights and your future. We will dissect why that question is asked, the monumental mistake 90% of drivers make in response, and the legally sound, respectful alternative you must employ. The legal battlefield, understanding the terrain. To understand what to say, you must first understand what is happening. A traffic stop is not a friendly chat. It is a temporary seizure of your person under the Fourth Amendment, deemed a Terry stop after the landmark Supreme Court case, Terry versus Ohio. It must be based on reasonable suspicion of a violation. The stop's mission is narrow, to address the traffic violation that justified the stop, for example, speeding, broken taillight, and to ensure officer safety. The officer's goal is multi-layered. Yes, they are enforcing traffic laws, but they are also trained in roadside interrogation and consensual encounter tactics to detect evidence of larger crimes. Their questions are investigative tools. The transition from a simple traffic ticket to a drug or gun charge almost always hinges on the driver's own words providing the probable cause needed to escalate the encounter into a search. The question about guns, drugs, or alcohol is the primary lever for this escalation. Let's break down why. Officer safety. This is the stated, legitimate reason. Knowing about weapons helps an officer assess threat level. Fishing for probable cause. This is the operational effect. Your answer, "Oh no, sir, just a little weed from last weekend," or "No guns, but my buddy's hunting rifle might be in the trunk," instantly provides specific, articulable facts that create probable cause to search the entire vehicle. The automobile exception to the Fourth Amendment allows police to search a vehicle without a warrant if they have probable cause to believe it contains evidence of a crime.
I have no comment on that. I am going to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches.
I have no comment on that. I am going to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches.
Your words. Your rights.
When your words weigh heavily, your rights are lifted.
I'm asking you again, where were you between the hours of marriage?
Officer, I understand, but I respectfully decline to answer any questions without my attorney present. Officer, I respectfully assert my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and I do not consent to any searches.
guilt or innocence. It is about process. The Constitution provides a set of rules for how the state must deal with its citizens. By knowing and invoking those rules, you ensure the process is fair. You level the playing field. You give your future lawyer a fighting chance. The most important tool you carry is not in your glove box, it's in your mind. It is the knowledge and the courage to say calmly and clearly, "Officer, I have no comment on that. I am going to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches." Your freedom may one day depend on those 14 words. If you found this deep dive into your constitutional rights valuable, imagine having this knowledge for every critical situation. We break down complex legal realities into actionable survival strategies. To ensure you're prepared, not scared, for whatever comes your way, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your future self will thank you. I do not consent to any searches. This is the invocation of your Fourth Amendment right. You have now put up a legal barrier. The officer now needs either probable cause, which you have not given them, or a warrant to search your vehicle. If they proceed anyway, any evidence found may be suppressed in court as the fruit of an unlawful search. You have not physically resisted, you have made a legal declaration. Delivery is key. Say this calmly, with your hands visible on the steering wheel. You are not arguing, you are simply stating your legal position. If the officer presses, why won't you answer? Do you have something to hide? Do not engage. You simply repeat politely, "As I said, officer, I am choosing to remain silent and I do not consent to any searches." You are not being rude, you are being a constitutional actor. You are closing the doors the officer is trying to open. The aftermath, what to expect and how to behave. Understand that invoking your rights may change the officer's demeanor. They may become more insistent or try to pressure you. This is a test. Stand firm, politely and silently. The stop may be prolonged as the officer calls for a canine unit. The Supreme Court, Rodriguez versus United States, has ruled that a traffic stop cannot be unreasonably prolonged for a dog sniff without separate reasonable suspicion. Your refusal to answer questions is not, by itself, reasonable suspicion. A competent lawyer can challenge an unreasonably prolonged detention. If the officer says, "Step out of the car," you comply. This is within their authority for safety. Pennsylvania versus Mims. But as you exit, you repeat, "I do not consent to any searches." If they begin searching anyway, do not physically interfere. Verbally reiterate your non-consent. Your fight is not on the roadside, it is in the courtroom, where your clear, repeated invocations of your rights will be your attorney's greatest weapon in suppressing any illegally obtained evidence. From this point forward, say nothing beyond identifying yourself. Do not explain, complain, or chat. Your entire interaction should now be conducted in respectful silence. You will receive your ticket or warning. Sign it if required. This is not an admission of guilt, merely an acknowledgement of receipt. When you are free to leave, ask clearly, "Am I free to go, officer?" If they say yes, leave calmly and safely. The one question you must never answer. We've focused on guns, drugs, and alcohol, but it all stems from the very first seemingly innocuous question many officers ask. Do you know why I pulled you over? This is the master trap. Any answer is a self-incriminating statement. If you guess wrong, you look guilty or inattentive. The illusion of obligation. The question is phrased to sound routine, like a yes or no box to check. This pressures you to answer directly, making you feel suspicious or guilty if you don't. It transforms a voluntary conversation into what feels like a mandatory interrogation. Your legal shield in this moment is the Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination and your Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches. You are not required to answer investigatory questions. You are required to provide your license, registration, and proof of insurance. That is the end of your legal obligation during a routine stop. The catastrophic mistake: volunteering the crime. The mistake 90% of drivers make is treating the officer as a friend or authority figure to whom they must confess or explain. The psychology is powerful. We are conditioned to be polite, to obey authority, to diffuse tension. We think, if I'm honest and cooperative, he'll let me go. In the context of a criminal investigation, this instinct is often legally suicidal. Here's what happens with the cooperative answer. The no with a twist. No guns, but I do have my fishing knife in the glove box. You've just given consent to search the glove box and introduced a weapon into the conversation, heightening the officer's alert. The partial admission. No open containers, officer. The sealed beer is just from the grocery store. You've confirmed the presence of alcohol, potentially leading to questions about your sobriety and a possible DUI investigation. The full confession. Just a little bit of marijuana for personal use. This is the direct, self-incriminating statement that guarantees an arrest. You have just provided all the evidence needed to convict you. The nervous denial, stuttering, avoiding eye contact, and a shaky no can itself be construed as suspicious behavior, contributing to the totality of circumstances an officer uses to justify a prolonged detention or search. Every word beyond identifying documents is a potential piece of evidence against you. The officer is not your confessor, your therapist, or your buddy. They are a state agent gathering evidence. Anything you say will be recorded, documented, and used with maximum effect in court. The Supreme Court has repeatedly held, Birdhouse versus Tompkins, that silence can be used against you if you haven't explicitly invoked your right to remain silent, but a voluntary statement, once given, can never be taken back. The lawyer-approved script: polite, powerful, and protective. So, what do you say? Your response must accomplish 3 things. 1. Be unequivocal in invoking your rights. 2. Be polite to maintain safety and de-escalate. And 3. Be a complete statement that ends the line of questioning. You are not being clever. You are being constitutionally precise. When the officer asks any question beyond the scope of the traffic stop, including, do you know why I pulled you over, where are you headed, and especially, is there anything illegal, any guns, drugs, or alcohol in the car, this is your response. Officer, I have no comment on that. I am going to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. Let's analyze why this phrase, delivered calmly and respectfully, is your most powerful tool. I have no comment on that. This is a clear, non-confrontational statement that you are not answering the question. It is not an admission, a denial, or an argument. I am going to remain silent. This is the critical, legally operative phrase. You are unequivocally invoking your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Once you invoke this right, all questioning must cease. Miranda versus Arizona. While the strict rules of Miranda apply primarily to custodial interrogation, invoking your right to silence at any stage is a clear legal signal and creates a strong record for your defense attorney. It prevents your silence from being used against you later.